Hello and welcome to Political Arena. My name is Morno Bala Gbogbo, and today is the premiere edition of the program. And on the show we'll have political guests, analysts, Nigerians, common men on the streets. We'll have them on the program to discuss everything that has to do with politics. And today we'll be kickstarting the program by talking about something that is very important, which has to do with the civic responsibility of the electorate in this 2023 general elections, which is just, a couple of days away from here. And I'm not alone in the studio. I will be speaking with our political analyst today on the program, Mr. EYITAYO, who is the head of Department Social Sciences and Humanities in the School of General and Communication Studies at KOGI State Polytechnic. But before I introduce him, I would like to do a monologue on our topic for today. 2023 holds a lot for Nigerians and the world at large. This February, the general elections will be happening live. Nigerians will be deciding new set of leaders. What are on their minds? What are the candidates up to in securing your votes? Will this election mark a new high for free and fair elections? All these and more are all up for discussion at the political arena. So, watch out. More voter participation implies a more authentic representation of the population's preferred electoral candidate. And in the quest for change and accountability of elected officials, the people have an important role to play to move a country forward. Now, in the case of Nigeria, the growing voter apathy poses a risk to the democratic structures, and there exists a need for wider and more effective civic and voter education amongst the populace to mitigate this. Now, in 2019, 84 million Nigerians registered to vote in the presidential election. This was a 20% improvement from 67 million in the previous presidential election of 2015. According to numbers recorded on Election Guide, voter turnout, however, continued poorly in 2019, with only about 35% voting. The turnout of voters in Nigeria's presidential elections peaked in 2003 at approximately 69%. From this period, there has been a steady decline, with an average of approximately 15% up until the recent election. These drastically low statistics call for swift intervention to encourage voter participation. And of course, it is an indication of the work to be done as the country approaches the new election, of course, happening this year. And which brings us to the topic for today, the civic responsibilities of the electorate in the 2023 general elections. And without further ado, all right, with me in the studio is Mr. Ebenezer Joel. Good day and glad to have you on the program, sir. Now, before we delve into our topic of discussion, a lot of things have been happening. Not up to a month till the general elections. What is on your mind? Are people excited? Like today, we're looking at the civic responsibility of the electorate. First of all, with your conversations with just ordinary Nigerians out there, would you say that there is an excitement for this election? Do you think people are eager to come out en masse, than what we've experienced in the previous elections?
Now, I must say very, very quickly that the impression we have right now is that Nigerians, more than ever before, are looking forward to the 2023 election because they see now the importance of voting to choose the right leader that will lead them. Because now the challenges that Nigerians are facing now brings more to the fore to them now, that their lives, their existence, their survival depends on who wins the election in 2023. So I see a kind of newer drive, newer interest of Nigerians to want to participate 2023 elections.
Now, but some people will say, that is people are just excited about registering,
Yes.
but actually coming out to vote, just like from my opening monologue where I mentioned the fact that in 2019 we had a lot, of people come out to register, but voter apathy. Do you think the political atmosphere in Nigeria, the climate, so to speak, is not going to be like that of 2019?
There are two ways to look at it.
Okay.
The excitement of Nigerians now is high. But the one way of looking at it is, it depends on, at these closing hours to the election, the kind of assurances that the government can give them, the kind of steps that INEC can put in place that will convince that they are safe, their lives are safe to go and cast their vote at the center, could make us have a higher number of people casting their votes in the 2023 election. But all the same, the way I'm looking at it, from the few people I've discussed with, few interactions we have had, I think people are determined now than ever before to go there and make a change in 2023. So I think we overcome all those apprehensions, and I see we have a good turnout in 2023 election.
All right, now still talking about voter excitement, when it comes to the general elections, some people have this opinion that the elderly people are more involved in the elections. The youths don't seem to give a care for the elections. But with the recent happenings, I think the youths are alive more than ever before. But is it all going to be, like some political candidates will make claim for a particular group of people supporting another presidential candidate? They will make claim that these are just online support. It will not translate, down to going to the ballot box to vote. What do you say to that?
Excuse me. But you see, we believe, from what we are hearing from the youth now, they now know than ever before that if they don't vote in 2023, it affects their future, affects their ambition, affects their survival as young people. So I see them overcoming all these problems and coming out to vote in 2023.
Okay, now in talking about looking at the topic of discussion today, looking at the civic responsibility of the electorate. We all know that the electorate, is you and I. We who, have our voters' card to go out there to vote. A lot of times people feel, okay, voting is for some set of people, and they don't know that they have a role to play. As someone who is registered to vote, someone who is excited to vote, has made up his or her mind that I will step out, come February to go cast my vote. What are some of the civic responsibilities, that is laid on us as voters in this election?
Okay. There are a number of these responsibilities that we have as an individual voter in the election. Primarily, we must understand that we must follow the electoral rules. There are rules that have been laid out by INEC to guide the voter to ensure that he votes and his vote counts. Number one, the voter must ensure that he collects that particular card. No matter the challenges on the way, you go there. It is a service for the nation. It's an investment for our future. To stay in the queue, bear the discomfort, and get this card. Because the card will speak for our future as Nigerians. Now you have the card with you. The next step is to follow the rules. Make sure you are not engaging in any electoral malfeasance. You are not buying votes.
Okay.
You are not selling votes. And in any way, you go to the polling center to make sure you don't engage in any bullying of anybody. And of course, during the campaign, you have a person you want to, you think you want to win the election, or you are supporting. You make sure you watch your language of persuasion. You don't go into maligning somebody's character. You don't go into trying to drag somebody's character down. You stay on the rules. You talk about what you want to do, what you think your candidate can do. Now, I was talking to somebody even yesterday, over articulate and obedient, and somebody was going to the point of trying to use vulgar language against. It became an issue. So as we are going to the election, have at the back of your mind that the issues are what should occupy our mind. not going into personalities or using vulgar languages. And of course, beyond that, as we are going through the election, we must refuse to be intimidated. I see that was a problem in the last election. People easily get cowed down. So I want Nigerians to go to the polling center, have a sense of responsibility, form themselves into a team, and ensure that their vote counts and nothing happens to break down the process.
Okay, now I know Nigerians are, just like you buy a new gadget,
Yes.
and you're supposed to repeat the manual.
Yes.
Let's be sincere to ourselves. Most Nigerians don't care about rules. They just get a gadget and then they use it. Now, talking about these elections, what would you say are the key rules that they need to know, sort of more of like their rights?
Yes.
Because sometimes they may not know that they have a right standing to act in a particular way as regards maybe casting your ballots. What would you say are the key things they should have at the back of their mind so that they will not be victims of intimidation or someone just sways their rights to a particular activity that they're supposed to perform?
Now, I think in without sense of modesty, that's where the security agencies come in. As much as Nigerians go to the polling centers to cast their votes, a lot depends on the conduciveness, the atmosphere of the voting center. So that's where we try to assess the role of the security agencies in elections. Now we're trying to analyze 2011 election, 2015 election, 2019 election, and we're doing a comparative analysis. And we're seeing that in a very low down way, the security agencies are failing Nigerians. So we're looking at a more robust approach from these agencies, the police, the army, all of them, coming together to give Nigerians the assurance that they are protected from bullies. But when we don't have these security agencies share to the idea is they mobilized quite a large number of security agencies in the last election. And what I'm hearing from the INEC chairman, they are going to mobilize 2 times that number in this election, which means at least there must be the presence of security in every polling center. That gives the voter the confidence to assert his right and vote for who he wants to vote. But if they are not there, then we're still running around having the same problems.
All right, still talking about civic responsibility of citizens. Another thing that can hinder the electorate coming out to really have their voice via their vote is something that is called voter suppression, in the sense that powers that be, it could be maybe even someone who is working with somebody, and then because he's working, the boss will not allow him to go out to vote. I don't know, I stand to be corrected if there is any law regarding no work for people who are above 18 years old and who are eligible to vote, because I feel this is another reason that can not allow people to come out to exercise their civil rights to vote.
Now I think presently that may not be a fact or a truism.
Okay.
Because I'm aware that even a particular state in Nigeria now is giving 2 days free. I think one state in the southeast, for people to go and collect their voters card.
Okay.
It's giving Thursday, Friday free. No work. Go pick up your voters card. I think the laws that we have, both at the state level and the federal level, encourages people to have a free time to cast their vote during the election. So I don't think any job keeps you. In fact, nobody should be in the office during those days because they are confused. No movement. The law that we've had in the past election says nobody should move around except those who are on essential services, medical people, and of course security. If you are going anywhere during the election, you must have a pass. So I will be surprised that anybody can stop anybody from being a part of the voting in the election. So the only people that I think will be in office or work are those on essential services, people in the medical field, and of course security agencies. So I don't see anybody hindering anybody from casting his or her votes during the elections.
All right, now another key factor, also looking at the collection of the PVC.
Yes.
It's not been easy in some particular places.
Yes.
And I was reading a report today talking about some of the challenges that INEC is having, and they're saying that they don't have enough funds to, to elongate the process so that people can still be able to collect their PVC. For some people, they will find it funny that, why shouldn't we, even up till the date of elections, still be able to collect their PVC? I know there are many people out there who have come to collect their permanent voter's card but have not been able to collect it.
I think the whole process of election anywhere in the world is a learning process. The idea we must be at a point on which we are improving from one election to the other.
Yes.
If you look at 2011, 2015, 2019, there's a progression in our improvement in election conducting in Nigeria. So there are lessons to learn. I was speaking in a program recently and I said, why can't we have people pick their voter's card the day they register? Why do you have to come back? Because I'm aware that you register in several places, you wait there, and you pick up your card. So that's an area we need to improve. I think INEC agreed that there are lapses they need to look at in the future elections. So already there are many people who are having problems. Somebody spoke to me yesterday that he registered and he's still having problem with collecting his voter's card. Of course, because he went there and they said come back and come back again. So I think we can cross some of those hurdles as we move to future elections. But as it is now, they have extended the date to, I think, next week. You see, people can still collect between now and next week. So those who are really eager to get the cards, they are going to get the cards to be able to vote in the election. But of course, there are rooms for improvement.
All right, you're still watching Political Arena. We'll go on a short break, and of course, when we come back, we'll have some more discussions to follow up on what we've been looking at today, which is your civic responsibility as a voter in the upcoming general elections. Stay with us.
The time as suggested in the motion.
From 31st January to June 31st, 2023, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it.
Do you know what it takes to lead? Do you understand what is politics? Do you have issues concerning the way we play politics? Do you have reservations about some political mugu? Do you want to serve or be served? Do you want to contest? Do you want to occupy any political office or be in charge of your world? All this and many more are what we discuss right here in the Political Arena, a program where we trash and arrange, condemn and commend, celebrate and blame all that play out in politics. Do not be told. Join me, Gbogbo Gbogbo, every Saturday by 7 p.m. to throw more light on why we play politics the way we do and how we can play it better. Political Arena, building a government of the people and for the people. Don't miss it.
All right, thank you for staying with us. If you just tuning in, my name is Gbogbo and this is Political Arena. And I have been speaking with Mr. Ebenezer Joel. Thank you, sir, for being with us, even on a short notice. Now, there is something I want to talk about. We've been talking about some of the factors that hinder, voters going to express, their rights to vote and elect leaders. And something comes to my mind because when you look at the American political system, I know people will want to say, yes, America is far advanced. We're talking about mail-in votes. Don't you think with the technology that we have, in our world today, because we have people who are disabled, we have people who through the days of this election will still not be able to vote and exercise their civic rights, to elect their leaders. Despite, all the advancement that has been made, these people will still not be able to vote. Why do you think, INEC is looking at, being able to vote via mail as in other advanced countries where they will even have to, after doing the day's election, they will still have more days to be counting votes that are coming in via mail?
I think I overheard Festus Okoye, the INEC spokesman, talking about this point that they have just raised. that in this present election in 2023, Nigerians in the diaspora will be able to cast their votes. Like I said, there are little bottlenecks that they are having presently. And I think they are trying to see how they can resolve these bottlenecks and give more Nigerians the opportunity to accept their civic responsibility and not to be disenfranchised. But you see, the complexity of our own country, Nigeria, and of course most of this technology they are kind of being borrowed from other societies. So there are so many gaps there that INEC want to ensure that they fill and they put a foolproof process in place to ensure that the election is not compromised. But I'm aware that they are trying to give space for those in the diaspora to cast their vote in this present election. But as it is now, we see that those who are disabled and all that, they are able to also cast their vote via the I think they are working on things like that.
All right. Now, quickly before we wrap up, when we talk about exercising your civil rights, you talked about security, which is very, very important. But at the same time, we live in a society whereby when you want to stand for the right thing, you tend to be intimidated. You might not even be attacked or intimidated at present. So how do you think Nigerians should go about this particular general elections, knowing fully well that it's not the normal case of a two-man's race? It's more of like a three-man's race right now.
More.
Yes, or even more. Yes, I mean that's a fact. Even more. So how do you think Nigerians should be wise?
Now,
Because
sir, with all due respect, I think that's where the role of every agency, every structure in governance is to play a role. The family has a role to play, the school, religious bodies. We need to work on voters, on electoral education, political education. Nigerians should know the place of their responsibility during elections. So I think to solve that problem, the encouragement, the enlightenment should come from all quarters. As the INEC is doing the enlightenment, it should be done in the churches, in the mosque, in the family level, in the community level, to encourage Nigerians to see the importance of casting their vote and choosing the people that will lead them. It's so serious that if you don't cast your vote and you don't vote in an election, you are contributing to the problems of the nation itself. Your vote is your voice. Your vote gives the point that you have a direction you are going, and that direction must be carried through. But if you don't vote, you sit back, you are murmuring, you are complaining, you don't understand what you're talking about. So the election plays a very important role because it determines those that rule us, those that take decisions on our behalf, that affects our life in every sense of it. So people should be encouraged to go out through electoral education. Yes, sir.
Which is very important.
Yes, sir.
Once again, Mr. EYITAYO Ebenezer Joel, thank you so much for being with us on the program. Fortunately, that's the much we can take today on the program. Well, by active participation in the electoral process, the political system becomes more responsible to the people. Like Abraham Lincoln explained in his 1863 Gettysburg Address, democracy as a system of governance is entirely by and centered on the people. It is this idea in mind that gives insight as to why growing voter apathy in Nigeria is so crucial. A country is its citizens, and change can only happen with active participation from everyone. And from all of us at the team here at the Political Arena, we're enjoying you and encouraging you to ensure that you exercise your civic rights as a citizen of this country. More so, go beyond the educational facilities that are out there telling you what and what not to do. By yourself, you can research what is expected of you as a citizen of our beloved country. Once again, God bless Kogi State and God bless Nigeria. My name is Mono Balagubu. See you on the next edition of the Political Arena. Do have a lovely day.